ads are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done, Ray. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick Fremo.
Oh yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunker, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you always do the Z.
Like one day of not going to Duncan, and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a Korn.
And now, the two guys that took 2 years to fix their audio problems.
Welcome to BGFG, episode 384. I'm your host, Chris Phoenix, and joining me, as always, my brother from another mother, Mr. Fremo Z. How are you doing this week, sir?
I'm doing pretty fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing fine.
Good, you?
Well, in the retail world, the season has started.
Yeah.
The hell season. So I get home, I leave when it's dark, and I get home when it's dark. And that sucks. Yeah, 100%. But outside of that, everything's more or less good. Getting the studio done.
Coming
fixing
together
stuff around the
nicely.
house. Yeah, I think so. It looks a little dirty. Got to get some stuff on the walls. It's very blank on the walls, and I don't like that. It doesn't make me feel comfortable at all.
Have you thought about putting like a geometric pattern on the walls, like a cubert board or something?
I was thinking about it. I got a couple of logos going, and maybe something else that somebody gave me an idea about. Oh, that'll be
Can't
fun.
wait to see.
Yeah, it is inexpensive. It's going to be pretty much a hoot for anybody.
Nice.
So it's not a big show this week, just a lot of meat, which is always fun. So let's get into this week's news, and we'll kick it off.
But there really isn't a lot of meat on little birds.
Oh, I see what you did there.
BGFG News. You heard it here third.
So first up in this week's news is the big news. And again, there's a lot of news going on, but there's certain news that we don't do in the show, which we've spoke about before, but this one is kind of big. So out of all the social media platforms, there's a couple that have, there's a lot, but there's many popular ones. Facebook is absolute garbage at this point. Discord's the new hotness, which is more or less a social media platform. You have Twitch. You have a lot. But one of the bigger ones, Twitter, has always been, and I've seen this from the back end for years, is that I like Twitter. I follow a lot of wrestlers on Twitter. I think it's a good source to find breaking news quickly. There is also, the underbelly of any social media organization. You have a bad and a good. Well, Twitter, being Twitter, was a joke, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, where Elon Musk somebody said, why don't you buy it? And he said, how much is it? And he made a joke that he wanted it. And then that kind of fell through, but people called him out on it. They're like, well, you said you were going to buy it. Well, he got pushed against the wall, and lo and behold, he bought that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious.
I think it is too, for a couple of reasons. So the first funny part is that it's $44 billion he acquired it for. I don't know if it's worth $44 billion.
It's not. It's not. And he'll tell you it's not worth $44 billion, but he did it to prove a point.
Yeah. And we'll get to that point in a second. His first post was "The bird is free."
Yeah.
Which I thought was really good. And then the next thing he did was he took the CEO, Parag Agarwal, he sent packing. The CFO, Ned Siegel, sent packing. Head of Legal Policy and Trust, which is a big thing now. People remember this. The head of Legal Policy and Trust, Vijaya Gad, was let go as well as General Counsel Sean Eggett. And I think this is very funny. So there's no surprise that these people were let go because they were the biggest opponents of Elon as a whole, whether he was on Twitter or buying Twitter. They just, apparently didn't like him. I don't know personally. And the reason why Elon said that he was going to back out of the deal or try to back out of the deal is because of the amount of bots that were on the network. They sent him information, and he's like, there's no way that you have this many users. No way.
Yeah.
And he's not a dumb person. You know what I mean? It's like people brag on him. He's very eccentric. But let's step back and realize what he did. He bought the Tesla Motor Company, which was nothing but a name and a concept. And he made it into a viable electric car company. He did.
Yeah. SpaceX.
The government cut funding for NASA. And he stepped in and created SpaceX. And now they're working with NASA to get us to Mars, to get us to all sorts of things. You know, the telescopes and back to the moon, all sorts of shit. That's great. Starlink satellites are a way that we're going to, in the future, utilize our cell phones to have global networks, which again is a great. Astronomers hate it because you can't see shit now. There's some shit in the way.
Update, there are over 3,000 up there now.
It's insane. That's insane.
Yeah.
And by the way, that signal that's now on the new iPhones for if you get lost or hurt, you can use the satellite. That's bouncing. Apparently, it's bouncing off of Starlink satellites to get that response. So we're starting it. We're almost there, and it's all because of Elon. So whether you like him or not, and his stupid posts and going on Joe Rogan and smoking a blunt, whether you like any of that shit or not, or his politics, it's irrelevant because he has done something for humanity. The tunnel, his tunnel, which may or may not be that good, but it's still a concept of, you said it couldn't be done. It would be too much money. I made a tunnel from A to B that people can travel on. So he's saying what he's done. And one of the things he wanted to do when he bought this was freedom of speech. Now, this is a definite hard thing to sell. So the first thing his bitch was the bots. And I can tell you from firsthand, there is a shit ton of bots. I check 4 different Twitter accounts every morning, and on all of them, there is constant bots. Usually it's a girl that plays video games, likes anime, and long walks on the shore, whatever the fuck it is. And it's got like 3 or 4 scantily dressed pictures with started this month and has like 4 posts. It's a complete scam. They just want you to follow it and do whatever. So, and there's a lot more bots just than those. Those are just the most common that I see. There's a lot of redirects. There's a lot of that shit. And he's concerned about that because you're not going to make any money off those people or those accounts. You're not. They're just bots. You're making money off the people that are actually on there and click on ads, and people pay to sell their ads on there. And those ads can be simply, something in your feed for a, check out, like even we posted on Stickstyle and BGFG, different stuff that we see that might not make the show, a new hybrid mouse or something like that. That goes on there. So that's kind of a link, and that's how they're kind of making money. That's what they do. So when nobody's 100% sure of what direction he's going to take, but they are sure that it's going to be less moderation right out of the bat. And the first thing that happened was all the trolls came out. All the trolls. There was a 500% increase in the use of the N-word, which I find remarkably disgusting.
Did you follow what happened with that?
No.
A majority of the post that included the N-word came from like a handful of counts.
Oh, wow. So there you go.
People trolling, like just pumping that out there to run that number up. And it would not surprise me to find out those people were paid to do so by someone.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I agree. There was Nazi stuff, hate and racism. And like Fremo just said, these are all coming from a handful of accounts that need to be let go. Now, the freedom of speech I just had a conversation at work about this. So freedom of speech doesn't mean, let me try it because I don't want to, I know this.
Oh, that's going to give you some hate mail.
This is going to get us screwed. So Fremo and I believe in freedom of speech. Now, we might have different opinions on what that freedom of speech is. Now, like my coworker said, freedom of speech is absolute freedom. I can say whatever I want, whenever I want. Okay, I agree with that. And let me tell you a quick story, Free, and you tell me how you feel about it. Now, freedom of speech. My son was going trick or treating with his girlfriend and his girlfriend's family. The stepfather, a group of black people came by, and his stepfather started saying the N word and derogatory stuff using the N word. My son turned around and said, "Shut your mouth," and they almost got into a fist fight right there in the street about it. So I believe that he has the freedom of speech to say something. He can say what he wants, his feelings.
Sure. And I have the freedom to punch you in the nose if I want to live with the consequence, and that's the beauty of it.
Correct. So the difference, people get confused between freedom of speech and ethically, morally, and socially correct.
Right.
So does this gentleman have the right to say that? Yes, he has a freedom to say those things. But like,
Should he? Ethically, morally, socially, should he? That's the question. It's not a question of whether you're allowed to say it or not allowed to say it. It's should you say it? Yes, you should have. I believe you should have the right. If you want to be an absolute idiot and spout garbage all day long out of your mouth, that's your right.
yeah,
Period. Should
but
you? Probably not, because there will be consequences. You run your mouth like that, and that's the difference between now and 30 years ago. You ran your mouth like that 30 years ago. Someone's going to, they're going to call you on it, and there's going to be an altercation,
yeah,
you know? And that's the way it was handled. You're an idiot. Shut up. No. Okay, fine. Here, I got something for you. Maybe you'll think twice before you spout stuff off like that again. But you
agreed.
can't do that anymore.
Nope, no, you end up in like jail, like me. That's so long ago because
And that's
because
the well, as I say, that's the thing that gets me is these people that they want tolerance, but they don't want to give tolerance to anybody that disagrees with them. So it's not actually tolerance.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
the trap that Twitter fell into.
yeah,
Was, well, we're trying to do good by not allowing certain things to be heard, but the dark side of that is if the wrong person gets to draw where that line is, then a lot of valid stuff doesn't get heard. And I
right.
think that's where Elon stepped in and said, okay. And I don't think it's going to be a free for all. I don't think he's going to allow certain things to propagate, and it'll take a little while to figure that out. But
But then
he,
you get into the other side of it at that point. So is freedom of speech truly free? Because if you're on a social network, then he's got two choices here, I see. Is you either make it completely free where people can say anything they want and the votes and the upvotes and the upticks will work accordingly. You have the ability on your feed to block that person or block that type of speech. Or do you go the other route and approach it as a company and say, okay, our company Twitter, our brand Twitter doesn't allow this sort of speech.
well, then that's what he's got to figure out. And I think I don't think, here's the thing. Would he like to have it be where anybody can put anything they want anytime they want? Yes, I think ideologically that's what he would like, but the man's also very smart business wise, and he didn't buy this thing for $44 billion to flush it down the drain.
No, not at all.
So there will be, and I don't, like I said, it'll take a little while for him to figure out where he's going to settle, but it won't be completely open. There's no way that that'll happen.
No, I don't think so.
Because until the idea of free speech, actual free speech, which may never happen at this point, but until that idea becomes prevalent and accepted, and people understand that, you should be allowed to say what you want when you want, but understand there will be consequences for what you say.
Right. We're not talking
Until
about going back. Like this law was created so that people that speak out against a king or a queen, or people that speak out against a president or a congressperson, doesn't get locked in jail for speaking their mind that they don't agree with them.
right.
Originally, it's morphed. It's been amended. there's a lot of different arms going into the freedom of
Yeah,
speech,
I
and
mean,
it's a
there's
very slippery slope.
there's the whole you can't yell fire in a crowded theater.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, there are limits to what we have as free speech in this country. So there will be limits within Twitter just by virtue of that. But obviously, Twitter had gone too far in some regards with what they censored and why they censored it.
Right, under
And
the
I
last
don't
regime.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't think that will be an issue going forward. Now, where that settles, we'll just have to wait and see as far as what is allowed and what isn't allowed going forward. But it will not be as blatantly, obviously one-sided that it had become.
No, I agree with you. And
And
like you said, there's repercussions for all of this. So like
yeah,
Elon's already said 75% of the Twitter workforce isn't even needed. Right. Because
yeah.
you guys have been there making money, cashing checks, and you really haven't done much. There's a really lopsided Facebook has the
Well,
same problem.
and did have you seen the news that broke just within the last day or so in regards to the chief legal person that got left from Twitter?
No.
It's confirmed that, and some interesting facts came out about Facebook as well, but it's confirmed that the government was telling Twitter what to shut down, and and she was on board with it.
Right. Right. Yeah, I did read that. I didn't know where you were going, but yeah, which is why I mentioned Facebook before, because they were told by the FBI to not post or to limit certain
Yeah,
posts.
there's
Twitter, same
actually
thing.
a government portal into Facebook
Uh,
that the government logs into and can
that's some
flag
bullshit.
what gets shut down.
That's bullshit. Well,
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
adding more fuel to the fire. I mean, on November 8th, the New York Stock Exchange will delist Twitter. Now, again, Fremo and I try to bring out the bullshit and call you out on stuff, but the bottom line is the November 8th New York Stock Exchange delisted all over the place as well. They don't like Elon. This is the beginning of the end. And no, it's not. Look, Twitter Inc. was sold to X Holdings Inc. It wasn't just a new CEO stepping in and now he's in charge. He bought the company. He bought the
yeah. It's no,
IP.
he bought all the stock.
Right. So
If
when
you own stock in Twitter, you will be getting a check for your stock
yep.
because there is no more publicly available stock. He bought all of it. He owns
Yeah.
it. It's his now. He could do what he wants. He could literally shut Twitter down and have one user account, which is him, and just say whatever the hell he wants anytime he wants, if that's what he wanted to do. Obviously, he's not going to do that, but I mean, if he wanted to turn the lights off tomorrow, he could.
Yeah, because he owns it lock, stock, and barrel. And if he wanted to, or people that invested in Twitter and you get that check, you might want to think about reinvesting into X Holdings Inc. because that's no slouch either. I mean, that's all of
Yeah.
his companies. So it's going to do good. And more recently it came out that they're going to also change the way Twitter Blue works. So I've been trying to get verified for years. You have to submit forms. You have to submit all this shit to get verified, to have that little check mark next to you. I would say the best example of that for the verified idea is the difference between celebrity accounts and stalkers, celebrity accounts and fake accounts. So
Right.
I follow a lot of wrestlers, and there's a lot of wrestling people that will have certain names as a Twitter handle, and they're only fans. And it's good to find the wrestler that has the check mark next to it. At the same time, something like Vince McMahon's Thoughts is not Vince McMahon. It's a parody account that's awesome, but
Yeah.
it doesn't have a check mark because it's not a verified account. They're looking to verify a person with their name, their real name, or valuable. Again, you know what I'm talking about. If you listen to the show, you fucking damn well better know what you're talking about. You can get the hell out. So the verified thing is very difficult to get, and it was like a feather in your cap if you got verified. It's like, hey, look, I am somebody. I got verified, but now Elon's talking about it, and the way he put it was kind of cool. So the Twitter Blue subscription is going to go from $5 to $8, which you kind of expect because it's a new company and it needs to make some sort of money on it. But the idea of being verified is now going to come with the price it never did before. You had to submit a form. Twitter would make a decision, but then Elon posted Twitter's current lords and peasants system for who is verified is bullshit. That was a great
Right.
line. That was a great line because I don't disagree. I know I am who I am. I've been on Twitter. I have to look at my account again. My account, not the businesses, but my account has been on Twitter forever. I should be able to be verified. It is me. It's my name. But I never could get it verified ever. And now if I pay $8 a month, I get verified. So I don't know how I quite feel about that quite yet. I don't know if it's something, I don't disagree with it because you get confused with parody accounts a lot of times. And not like anybody's making a parody account of me, but there's there's parody accounts, like I said.
The original's parody enough.
That's a fact right there.
That's right, folks. We know how to laugh at ourselves, unlike a lot of you.
Yeah, exactly right. Take your shit too seriously. So I mean, like, it's, I don't know. I think paying $8 for a month for something that I don't know. That's a tough sell.
It may, here's my look at that. The genius behind him doing that.
Yeah.
Completely. If you don't want to pay the $8 a month to get verified at this point and just continue on as you are, that's fine. But for all the people that will, just so they have the blue check mark, completely gets rid of the lord and peasants structure that he was referencing.
Yeah.
So to me, it's genius because it will directly alter the whole blue check mark, haha, I've got it, you don't. That's gone.
Right.
But if you don't want to spend the money, don't spend the money.
Right. You don't have to. And just I'm probably not going to spend any of the money.
But I mean, he's basically diluting the mystique and prestige behind having the blue check mark. He's saying, hey, if you want it, it's yours. $8 a month.
Right. And
so
I got to think about that. I want to see what the other benefits are.
You get this person who's like, oh, well, I want to be an influencer. I've got to have the blue check mark. Sure, I'll take your $8 a month. How about it? Be an influencer. See if you can. If you make it, great. I got my $8 a month. But it does. It totally crushes the whole haves versus have-nots, for lack of a better term.
Wow. That's, yeah. But that didn't end his bullshit, though. Because, of course, now he's a target, even more so than he ever was. And he went to Heidi Klum's Halloween party, which is legendary. I mean, her costume alone was phenomenal, a giant friggin' worm. But he came out with his mom, which I thought was kind of adorable. He went to the Halloween party with his mom, but he dressed as an evil soldier, the devil's soldier, I think it was called. And it had accurate satanic symbols on the chest. But again, it's what you're laughing? What?
Guy's a freaking genius. Are you kidding me? I don't understand why so many people don't see that he is the ultimate troll. There will never be a better one. Period. 100%. Yep. Period. He gets Twitter. He gets all this praise and accolade from one side of the political aisle over buying Twitter and opening it up, and then he turns right around and does something to offend the crap out of them and make them scared to death. The dude is genius.
He is. He's staying in the news and staying relevant by trolling everybody else. He's doing
like all these people are like, Eli. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, what did we do? I mean,
yeah. I like it. He's playing right into every. Yeah, it's perfect, and doing it intentionally was even better.
But the fact that he did that just reinforces that he truly believes there should be an open place for ideas, all ideas, to be shared and debated, which is what his intent was with Twitter. He doesn't care if you're left leaning, right leaning, brown, purple, blue. He doesn't care. To him, and obviously I've never talked with the man, but I would be willing to bet he would verify this statement. To him, every person has an intrinsic value. Period.
Yep. Yeah.
And he's just making sure that everybody has as level of a playing field as possible.
I would agree.
And not just within the social platform. I mean, everything that he's doing with the electric vehicles and trying to get us to space and everything else is to benefit humanity, not to benefit a particular class or group, but humanity.
Correct. If you think that we're, rump swabbing him or anything like that, step back and look at what he's done. Don't look at his Twitter, don't look at it, just look at what he's done as a person.
You don't even look at what he's done per se. Look at the effect that he's had.
Yeah, the impact
on society as a whole, like planetarily.
Yep. Yeah. And you get your answer. And you know what else had a huge impact on humanity, or at least my childhood?
What's that?
Lego Mindstorm.
Oh yeah,
you remember those?
You were into the Mindstorm?
I was.
Okay.
I was. So Lego Mindstorms came out in 1998. It was a combined effort of Lego and MIT, which is cool enough right there. That sold me back then. I'm like, holy shit. Especially living in New England, close to MIT. You always heard about MIT grads and shit like that. So to have a Lego and MIT, I'm like, yeah, that's going to be badass. It made you learn gearing. It made you learn basic coding and how things work. And I love that. I was having a conversation with somebody at work the other day that I miss Radio Shack. Not because of what it was. Yes, there was one on like every corner, but because of what you could get. Remember the little scientific toys you could buy? Like build your own radio and shit like that? That taught you some shit. So then, like, I needed a potentiometer, some wiring, and a small, like, case fan to build something I was working on here in the studio. And I'm like, fucking radio. I could have gone 5 minutes up the road, pick up all three of those items, come home, solder them together, and be done. Instead, I got to search Amazon.
You know who had a big impact on specifically Radio Shack, but also just that whole
DIY
electronics, do it yourself stuff. Who kind of killed that?
Who?
With their all-in-one products that you don't have to know anything to use.
Where are you going with this? If you say the A
fruit.
word,
it's a tasty fruit.
You're such a
bullshit.
It's not true at all. It's not true.
No, but it was fun to say.
Yeah, to tease me. Yeah. Whatever. So the Mindstorms was the first toys to actively promote STEM learning, which STEM learning is very, very good. And it's something that's I still don't think is used enough. I think so. Let me just backtrack. The STEM learning system for science and things like that.
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
So it's a fucking problem, people. Just pay attention for a second. It's a fucking problem when you have to create an actual division in school to promote those things when they should have been done in basic schooling anyway. And you make fun of, they're talking to old people shit again. Right, Gen X, I did have a science fucking class. I did have a chemistry class. I dissected animals and shit. We had all that stuff, engineering, basic engineering stuff. You might have a shop class, but you don't do any of that shit anymore because you're teaching your kids how to pass a test. And the fact that we have to have a STEM learning curriculum is bullshit alone. And that, I think, is failing as well.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Don't even get me started on what they're actually trying to teach in schools these days.
Our school system right now, I'm glad that we have one more we have 2 graduating this year and one more that we actually just pulled out of that school. There was another incident. There was another incident in the local school where a special needs child got pulled off to the corner, got convinced into taking a bunch of pull on some THC vapes, and ended up passed out in the middle of the hallway. Ended up being rushed to the hospital. And on Instagram, you see a bunch of fucking pictures that say like nighty night. And the reason why that shit's done, and Fremont and I've said it before, people, I can't believe I'm on a soapbox again. I wish I could remember the UK judge, they don't call them judges, the magistrate that said it. The way to deter criminal activity or bad behavior is the absolution of conviction. Meaning that if if you know that if you jump that fence and kick that pumpkin, that you're going to get arrested because there's cameras everywhere, however, you're going to get in trouble. And if you're an underage kid, you're going to get home, you're going to get your ass whooped, and you're going to be grounded for like a month. That does not exist anymore, people. I am watching people in my tiny ass town, which is a microcosm of the entire country. I'm watching kids get bullied consistently nonstop, teachers turning away because they can't get involved or else they're going to get sued or fired. It's become a cesspool in our school systems, and it's bullshit. Part of me, my conspiracy part, is going, they're doing this on purpose to promote homeschooling and get rid of the schools, which are in a lot of cases an eyesore, but a huge debt on the country.
No, they don't. They don't. No, that's absolutely not what they're wanting to do. They do
But-
not want. They do not want kids going home and learning at home. They want. They want to indoctrinate these kids.
Right, which is the other half of the
Period.
argument. Yeah.
Period. That's all they're wanting to do is indoctrinate kids, and you can look at the effects of that. And they've been very damn successful because we have a whole generation of late teens, early 20s that now think that, oh Lord, here we go. Let's get in trouble. There are an infinite number of genders.
Oh yeah, that's going to hit hate mail.
Oh, that's going to give me some hate mail.
Again,
Really?
I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole, but there is a lot of shit going on, and it really comes down to parenting. Parents are not paying attention, even if
Yeah.
your child
And you could see where COVID backfired in some regards because it put the kids at home and the parents, the ones that were still stay parents, got to see all the crap that their kids were getting introduced to.
right.
And that's why you have this freaking firestorm of parents now going to council meetings and stuff and school board meetings and pushing back on what they're seeing in their kids' schools now. That's why you're seeing it.
And I'm going to go ahead and add to that by saying this has come down to a very black and white society now, where it wasn't like this even when we were growing up. Gen X.
What
Was
about the
growing up.
Asians?
Oh, stop. It's become a very black and white society. Like you had the parents during COVID to speak upon what you were saying. You have the parents during COVID that were still staying at home, seeing what their kids doing, disciplining them, teaching them the right way, blah, blah, blah. Then you had the parents that either were working or were pissed off. And yes, there were some that were pissed off.
Because their kids were at home all the time.
Because their kids were at home all the time and it's cramping their style or their gaming time or whatever the fuck it is. I'm sorry that shit happened. Unfortunately, the other side to that is, like Free was just saying, there's a lot more parents at conferences and stuff. But there's also the flip side, like up here in my area, there's not a lot because we've lost faith in our school departments. We've lost faith in the superintendents and stuff. We keep exchanging them and swapping them out and firing them and voting them out. But the bottom line is nobody's listening to anything we're saying. You literally looked at me and my wife and told us that you cannot protect our child in school. That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem in a school that you can't protect. You have people walking in with guns and there's 15 fucking excuses why and how they walked in with those weapons. Not even the argument of why they have the weapons, but the fact that they walked into a school that wasn't locked down to get those weapons. You know, it's just I don't understand it. But you know what? Let's just finish this segment before we get in too much trouble and get all my blood pressure up.
Or we end up in our first Subtopia Knoll.
Yeah, finally. So the kits for Lego Mindstorm are going to end this year. At the end of this year, you're going to not be able to pull them out anymore, get them out. But the mobile app will end in 2024. So if you have some, or you can buy some on eBay, or you're going to flip it, that would be a good idea too. Because a lot of private schools I know of, actually still use Lego Mindstorm for teaching during their STEM curriculum. So, you know, if you want to make some money, buy a bunch up and then flip them. And the mobile app will end in 2024. So that conducts our news segment this week, and we're going to slide into the music. We're going to get into our music segment while I run upstairs and try to go to the bathroom quickly. So hopefully if the music ends, Fremo will be here. No, you don't get to say anything because I'm actually going to do it during the break.
Oh man. Okay.
But I can almost guarantee it'll be another time. So this week's music.
I've got a new name for the segment. We're not gonna ding your bladder. I decided that was, just wasn't nice of me to name the segment in such a way that made fun of your tiny bladder.
Okay, this should be interesting because you're not nice to me.
Yeah. So we're just going to call it Bio Breaks with Free.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. Bio breaks with free. All right. I got to have some sort of music for that. All right. So this week's music is Korn, classic. Coming Undone, which is I love the hook on the song. You just end up humming it for the majority of the day. And when we come back, we'll talk about some stick style news, which is kind of interesting. There's a war brewing, people. War brewing. All right, you can catch us on the other side for stick style. And here's where the hell's the song? Oh, there it is. I think I got the wrong picture in there too.
Keep holding on when my brain's ticking like a bomb. Gets the black dogs have come again to get me. Sweet bitter words, unlike nothing I have heard. Sing along, mockingbird, you don't affect me. That's right. Deliver it to my heart. Please try. Be deliverance. Wait, I'm coming undone. Array, I'm coming undone. Too late. I'm coming undone. What looks so strong, so delicate. Wait, I'm starting to suffocate, and soon I anticipate. I'm coming undone. What looks so strong, so delicate. Choke again. I find my demons were my friends. Pity me. In the end, they're out to get me. Since I was young, I've tasted sorrow on my tongue, and this sweet sugar gun does not protect me. That's right. Trigger between my eyes. Please try. Make it quick now. Wait, I'm coming undone. Array, I'm coming undone. Too late. I'm coming undone. What looks so strong, so delicate. Wait, I'm starting to suffocate, and soon I anticipate. I'm coming undone. What looks so strong, so delicate. I'm trying to hold it together. Head is lighter than a feather. Looks like I'm not getting better. Not getting better. Wait, I'm coming undone. Array, I'm coming undone. Too late. I'm coming undone. What looks so strong, so delicate. Wait, I'm starting to suffocate, and soon I anticipate. I'm coming undone. What looks so strong, so delicate.
Made it. I made
Barely.
it literally in the nick of time. Oh, that was Korn. Great
Like
track.
his chair wasn't even pulled all the way back up yet.
It wasn't. So, welcome to the second half of the show. This week, the drinking choice is ta-da, Modelo Negro. Good shit. I finally got some more. I am really liking Negro. Especial is great, but Negro's really good.
Flavor. Can't beat it.
Yeah. And it's not, like we said before, we say it like every time, but it's not as thick as Guinness. for a dark beer. It's just not.
But to me, flavor-wise, like Beck Stark, a lot of those other dark beers, Amberbach even have a bitterness to them
Oh yeah.
on the backside, and this doesn't.
No. Yeah. Now we know what you're talking about. You know what else pisses me off when somebody tells me to try a beer? Like the other when I got these, they were handing out a 12-ounce can of Pabst. Came out with some new beer. You know, and funny from the liquor store to the house. Good.
I was gonna say you do realize that the hipsters found out about Pabst PBR,
Yeah.
and which sucks
Yeah.
because just regular PBR, not a bad beer, good
Not a
value,
great beer, but not a
you
bad
know.
beer.
No, not a bad beer, but if
Better
you just
than
want to
Bud.
pick up a 6-pack of something and you only had, $5-6 in you,
Yeah.
you can get you a 6-pack of PBR now. Yeah, not so much. Like they're not quite, PBR's not quite like at that microbrew price level, but they're getting there.
It better can never be. So I didn't even put my glasses on. So I can drive. I only need my glasses to read. So I didn't wear my glasses from the time I got to the liquor store till I got home. I came in, gave the wife a kiss, took a shot with her. We pulled out dinner. I was like, oh, before I grab a beer, let me have this. It's still cold. Again, I looked at it quickly, didn't have my glasses on. I saw it said lager somewhere. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I tried it. And of course, you get that fucking IPA aftertaste of like some citrus bullshit. Just stop putting shit in the beer, please. Please. I don't need fruit in my beer. I just don't. My wife drinks those fruity ass drinks, the ones you see commercials for with the seltzers and whatnot. Zima. But I do not, and I don't want that, especially in a lager. All right, let's get into stick style, and we'll have some fun.
Gaming.
So, Freemo, excuse me, the subscription and streaming war has begun. What are you smiling about?
Let's get into our first story.
Oh, God. So, we were talking about, like I was saying, the streaming and the subscription war has begun, and it's really kind of hitting big. And I think before long, people are going to start tuning into the show because Freemo and I were fucking right. So, Sony's taking a huge hit. Well, not huge, but a serious hit. Yeah, go ahead. Make little faces. The multi-tier PlayStation Plus subscription has fallen from 47 million to 45 million. I am not losing sleep over the $2 million that they lost. This is still 47 or $45 million. Investors are bitching about it. So the fact that this made news kind of made me chuckle and put it in our show.
No, they lost 2 million subscribers. That's not dollars. That's subscribers.
Again, I'm not concerned over that. That's a tiny percentage. That was just in the first. What?
They lost 4% of their subscription in a month.
Well, let them go. These are all people that had that subscription that forgot about it.
Okay, we'll see.
I'm telling you.
If the trend continues, that means they lose over 50% of their subscribers in a year.
Well, they did say, well, again, the fact of that actual subscriber count is better on the PlayStation 5 than the PlayStation 4.
The ratio, yes.
So
the
PlayStation 5 is better.
Let's say they've got a 30% subscription rate on the PS5, and they only have a 15% prescription rate on the PS4.
Yeah.
Right? So that looks good. But when you realize that there's 200 million PlayStation 4s, or however many there are, and there's only, 1 million PlayStation 5s, that means even though you have a better ratio, you still have way less subscribers on the new platform.
Yeah, but it's still so. So the leadership said that the plan to accelerate the adoption of the PlayStation 5 hardware to recover this user engagement going forward. I don't know if I agree with that statement. Again, they said that statement to their investors. So it's whenever we talk on the show about saying something to the
They're trying to
investors.
sell their investors. Yeah, they're trying to make the investors not panic, and they're in
Correct.
the other room
And bail. Yeah.
freaking papers flying everywhere. Guys are pulling out their hair. No, don't jump.
Yeah,
First of all,
yeah.
we're only on the second floor, so you're not going to die. But
You're gonna hurt real bad.
yeah, I mean it. You know, I don't. For one, you've got to bring back in the fact, and we've both said this, and we agree that the new consoles are basically gaming PCs.
Agreed. Yeah, 100%.
And with that being said, and they're wanting to get more people on the PS5. They know consoles are dead.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah,
dead
they
yet,
do.
but they're dead. Okay. They haven't sold neither Sony, Nintendo maybe makes a little bit off their console, maybe,
I think so.
but
I think so.
I don't know. They're not, they're probably the only one actually.
Again,
that
it's
makes it because that's all they do.
So look, the essential tier on PlayStation Plus is the same as or the essential tier that they have now is the same as the original PlayStation Plus. But the real value is the premium tier that gives you access to PlayStation's entire catalog all the way back to the OG PlayStation, which is nice.
Right.
But I think that statement, like you, wait a minute, from what you said, I think that statement that they're waiting for the hardware to recover the user engagement going forward, I think that's very much based on the fact that they're only. Remember, people, we love Xbox here. We do. I like PlayStation. Freemo doesn't, but we both love Xbox. Xbox has some fucking franchises. They have the Forza franchise, whichever one you choose. Gears of War, Halo. They have franchises. The only one PlayStation really has that's worth a damn is God of War. And I think they're banking on the fact that God of War is coming out. The new God of War Ragnarok's coming out. And it is making a big splash. A lot of people are talking about it. They have the collector's editions that are out, the multi-tier collector's editions, which you'll see here being unboxed. They have all those things, and I think they're banking way too fucking much on the new God of War coming out to pull them out of the slump. Great game. Even a game Freemo has said in the past that is a game that Freemo would play on somebody's PlayStation. He would buy one, but he would absolutely play that game because it's a good game. But you can't. It's not going to pull you out of a slump that big. And like Freemo was alluding to before, Xbox fucking loses money too. It's not like just PlayStation's losing money over their subscription service. Microsoft is not losing that much money on their subscription service because they banked it with EA. And they're using their former catalog, including all of their franchise games. Right. PlayStation's got a lot of games, but I don't think that many.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say. Microsoft can afford to lose that $100-$200 per console because they're making it up on the back end after you've got their console. They're making subscriptions and everything else. And I think Microsoft, and I don't know how Sony would have missed this, but I think Microsoft already knows it and they're already heading that way. But if you want to stay relevant in the gaming world, it's not going to be about the hardware you're presenting. It's about the catalog that you have to present.
Right.
Because as these consoles become more and more gaming PCs, I mean, they essentially are, but, and I don't foresee consoles, the concept of consoles ever going away.
No.
But what you're going to see is you're going to have consoles that are customizable. You'll be able to order parts. You'll have a base rig. You'll be able to upgrade, And if you have the technical skills, you'll be able to do even more as if it was a true gaming PC. That's where it'll end up. But as that happens, you're going to lose the branding difference between Microsoft and Sony. Yes, you'll have a rig that has Microsoft on it. You'll have a rig that has Sony on it. But once they start getting into the point where you can customize these things, and as an end user, you're basically just getting a backbone with a brand stamped on it, and then you're putting what you want in it. So when you get to that point, it's going to be all about what the subscription service provides with that console, the catalog that you have available. And you just, I mean, like you alluded to a second ago, Microsoft is already light years ahead of Sony as far as franchise games.
Yeah. If you strip it all back, right, and you look at it from a business point of view, Phil Spencer said already they lose money on every single Xbox, between $100 and $200 depending on the version. And like everyone else, they make money, like you said, on accessories, from controllers to subscriptions to everything else. But make no mistake, like Freeman was saying, people scoff at the idea that the Xbox or the PlayStation 5 are gaming console PCs. I've told it on this show numerous times. The rig that we record the show on literally has the same inside it as my Xbox Series X right there and my PlayStation 5 right there. They have the same innards. Yes, you know what? The chips are slightly tweaked for the consoles themselves per the company, Sony, per the company, Xbox.
Right.
Or
They've
Microsoft, rather.
they've got some proprietary software on some of the chips, or some
But-
blah blah blah. But
look at it like this, too. I implore you, if you're listening, when you get to a computer, go to originpc.com. There was a while, I don't even know if it's listed anymore, but for a while, before these generation consoles, you could buy a PC. It was a case like mine, a little bit bigger, but you had a PlayStation in it, you had an Xbox in it, and you had a PC in it. All three were there with a switch on the front that you could determine which one you want. So make no mistake that the consoles, I feel, I see what you're saying with consoles are going to stay relevant for a little while. There's always going to be some sort of console because people want a standalone unit. But when you look at that, look at like the Alienware, or Steam came out with one for a while before their handheld, where it was just like an Apple TV almost in front of their television that streamed or had very limited usage for certain games. Phil Spencer did say that they can't do this forever, lose money on this. So that means that they are looking, I agree with you, Free. They're looking into the future of this. And like we've said on the show numerous times, the future is streaming, period. Streaming's getting better. Freemo has gigabit up and down at the very least, with tiers going up higher. Up in the north, we have gigabit down and shitty up right now, but it's still substantial. It's enough to be able to get a streaming system going. I've played streaming games. I've showed it on the show, and it's going to get more because I have a lot of different things going on. But the streaming services are real, and they're fucking working. This is like, think of it like cloud services. When cloud services first came out, everybody that didn't understand it in our generation went, I'm not trusting the cloud. That's going to go down. I'm going to lose all my shit. Well, guess what? Here we are in 2022, and the cloud is fucking solid. Use the cloud. Whatever version of it you want, Dropbox, OneDrive, iCloud, doesn't matter. Use it because your shit's going to stay there forever. I just had an issue with losing some pictures. They are on my iCloud because of my iPhone updated every night. So it's a heaven sent. And I think gaming is going to go this way too, like Freeman was saying. Right now.
I just downloaded the original Call of Duty Black Ops yesterday. Right?
Did you?
Yeah. House guest really likes that game. Wanted to play some fucking Nuketown. I was like, yeah.
Who doesn't want to play Nuketown? Yeah.
Right.
I don't even like that franchise, and Nuketown's the fucking awesome.
But so yeah, I pulled it down and launched the game, and boop, loaded my profile for that game in. So all that time I spent leveling up, getting my weapons, getting the perks, getting everything the way I wanted it there. I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah, it is brilliant.
I was like, I stepped right back into my outfit, my Galil, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, God.
Boom, done.
So the other thing that's going to come, because besides as important as the streaming services become more prevalent, is the Game Pass. Whether it's PlayStation or Xbox is the Game Pass, but look at what's going on with Game Pass in November. You got Xbox's Game Pass. It's a brilliant concept. They spread out a lot of the games throughout the month, but basically it's first half of the month, second half of the month, and then they spread out those announced games in between those. And winter is a big time for video games, people. Big time for video games in the winter. And the reason why is because everybody's in the house. Christmas time's coming. So you got consoles and hard sales or physical sales bumping up during the winter. But that's going away, people. It's going away. They can't afford to keep doing that like that. They can't, because streaming and digital, and I can tell you that retail, there's almost every company in retail has announced their winter sales or their holiday sales, and you can get a lot of those sales right now. So the point of Black Friday is pointless. The only people that are showing up on Black Friday, I can tell you, for the past couple of years, the only people that are showing up on nostalgia, like my ex-wife. Oh my God, we do it every year. We just go get coffee and then we stand in line. Yeah, that's fucking fun right there. Let's get a coffee that's going to be cold and I can't throw it out, so I got to hold an empty cup. And let's stand in line for a fucking hour. That's dumb.
Yeah. And then hope you don't get stabbed in the back of the head because you just grabbed the last of something off of the shelf.
Yeah, and even those things aren't even happening. I don't know of any store right now. Right now, I don't know of any store that's doing some sort of doorbuster. It's
Yeah.
just not worth it. And when the
Oh,
last time they did it, there was like a handful of each one of the doorbusters. So the point of doing a doorbuster is irrelevant now. So everything's become digital, and November Game Pass is no slouch on this either. You're gonna have everybody in the house.
Cyber Monday just basically made the whole concept of Black Friday pointless.
I agree. And
I
even
mean, it's
that,
like, wait,
but
I can
Primo,
go
even that,
stand in line at a store and hopefully get what I want, or I can wait a couple days and just have it delivered to my house. Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
but even that's going a little bit wayside, because you get a lot of those deals already on
Anytime
throughout
you
the
want.
month. Yeah, throughout
Yeah.
the month. Where I think there's a big chance is, I like to see Amazon really kind of take the Amazon deal days or Amazon Prime Day and move that to Cyber Monday. I think they'll make a killing. I mean, I know there's a lot of deals, but really promote it more as such. And they've shied away from it, and I don't know why. But back to the November Game Pass. There's a good amount of games coming out. So let me hit you with the list, Free.
Okay.
The list is Monkey Island. That right there alone, Monkey Island, for free, people. If you've never played a Monkey Island, give it a try. Monkey Island Football Manager 2023, because they just removed, and this is another thing that you're going to see a lot of. They're removing this month Football Manager 2022, and they're replacing it with Football Manager 2023. This is the way you want to see shit happen. So Monkey Island Football Manager 2023, Ghost Song, BGFG Monopoly Fight Night Edition, Pentiment, Tang Ting, Vampire Survivors, which apparently is really hot. I've never even played that game, but a lot of people are talking about Vampire Survivors. Somerville, The Walking Dead, and then leaving, like I said, will be Football Manager 22, Art of Rally, Fate Tactics, Next Space Rebel, One Step from Eden, and Superland, which I just want to let you know ahead of time. Superland did not have anything to do with the Toyota car in it.
Yeah, that's why a
checked.
lot of people are disappointed.
I checked. It sucked. It was it's about as depressing as playing the Street Outlaws video games. Which I implore somebody, if you're at a shop or a store and you see the Street Outlaws video game, if you're any sort of racing fan, you see the Street Outlaws video game, buy it
Snap
for like
it in
$5.
half.
No, well, after, but buy it for like $5 and play it, because it has, you sit there and look at it and you go, this is going to be fucking great. I love this show. It's going to be fucking awesome. And then it absolutely sucks ass. It sucks the life out of everything you were doing that night. Everything. It's awful. What I always found cool, though, is that many of these games get seasonal updates, which is cool. Halo gets their winter update with new maps. Sea of Thieves is actually doing a limited run story arc throughout November or parts of November, which is really cool. And usually games like Destiny, Fortnite, and Call of Duty release some vaulted weapon or skin for you to play with over the holidays. I know Fortnite does a lot of Christmas stuff, like they're going to start doing the holiday stuff. Themed stuff. I think didn't Call of Duty do like Santa hats or something, or Santa
You
beers
talking
at
about
one
the new
point?
Warzone one?
Any of them, any of the Call of Duties throughout our playing history. I'm pretty sure they did like skins.
They was it Call of Duty?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm trying to remember the okay, you remember the map bonfires.
Vaguely.
And they had bunny suits. They did bunny
Yes.
suits at Easter one year, but I can't remember.
It was a Call of Duty, though.
That wasn't Call of Duty though. That was
Are you sure? Because I remember being in the cabin.
Ghost Recon.
Okay, close enough.
But yeah, it was that was Not that. Oh god, that was a long time ago. That's Ghost Recon Thunder Islands or something like that.
Well, World of Warcraft chose to go down a different route this year. World of Warcraft decided
I
to
love
piss
this
off.
crap. I love this. I really do.
So,
Because you know how I am, man.
yeah, I
People
know.
will be like, "Oh, I'm gonna spend the next 48 waking hours getting this. Da, 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 it's limited edition time. You know, you can only do." And I'm like, "Okay, give it 6 months. Let's just see what happens."
Look, leave me alone, Ben. I got 2 goals today. Later on today, after I finish my household chores, 2 goals are to get some of the stuff done for the Star Wars mini event that's happening in a fortnight, and then start God of War, because for some reason Sony has lost my game save. I believe it's console specific, because the God of War one over there, I fired it up and all my game save is there. But on PlayStation 5, it's not, even though I told it to.
Can't get it off the old one and transfer it.
It's supposed to transfer. It should be already transferred. So I'm going to go
Well,
in
I
and check
get
it
that
out
it
later.
should be, but can you not yourself
Yes, manually.
get
I'm
it
going to
off
go
of?
manually. Yes,
And then
Primo.
okay,
Oh, God.
all right. Because
Yes,
if you need
free.
some help, if you need some technical help with some of
Yeah.
that, let me know.
Yeah, okay.
Douchebag.
Unbelievable.
Insert USB tab A into
Fuck you.
USB slot B.
Yeah. And then it's, wait, that's upside down. Let me try it again. No, wait, that's upside down. No, let me try it a third time. Why does the third time always work? Anyway, World of Warcraft decided to piss off everybody. So there's no doubt in our mind, neither Freemo or I play World of Warcraft. But we appreciate the fact, Leroy Jenkins, we appreciate the fact that the game it's got longevity. I mean, it just,
Oh, it
this
does.
is,
It does.
I,
And it it is exactly what you want from what's the acronym now? I mean, it used to be MMOs, but now it's like
any game.
MMORPG
I would say any game.
plus T. No, wait, plus is something else.
I would love to have like a wrestling game, like on the WWE 2K games. There's a
Yeah.
thing. What the hell is it? I can't remember.
But anyway, long story short,
Wait a minute,
Blizzard.
hold on. It's a showcase, and like this showcase for this edition was Rey Mysterio. There was a showcase for Steve Austin, which I think was the best one. Keep releasing showcases. We'll keep fucking buying them. World of Warcraft, Destiny, MMORPGs, like Freeman was saying, that's what we want when we play those games and we're thirsty for them. That's what we want. Just keep adding shit. We'll pay for it. We don't have no problem. You know, until the game gets so bad and so old that you have to revamp the mechanics, but you can have all of that time and they're releasing these little mini things to make a new game engine. Madden did it, but they broke it. Madden was good at that. Football Manager seems to be the one that's doing it the right way right now. Game mechanics are solid. They put them in there. Everybody loves them. They tweak little things. Now they're just doing Football Manager every year. So you can just keep with new rosters and things. World of Warcraft, on the other hand, decided to take a different road, Free. So there's types of gamers that'll buy and sell characters for hundreds of monies. It's just that's the World of Warcraft kind of broke that. I think they really kind of pushed that. So Freebo goes in. He has a week off, or he just lost his job. He goes in, gets a World of Warcraft account, builds a character that he likes, puts it on eBay, username and password, doesn't have any of his personal information, sells the character. You now have a character that's a level 100 or whatever the fuck it is now.
Yeah.
With
the complete armor set that increases your stats by 1,000% or whatever you did.
And this is the same with like other things in the game as well, like weapons, mounts, armor, just about anything. So from I can't even do this with a straight face. It's just a shitty thing to do. So from November 28th through the 30th, you can be the proud owner of a Feldrake Dragon mount. Now you might be wondering, Phoenix, what exactly are you talking about? It's a dragon that you ride. That's their mounts. But this was a mount you could only obtain from playing their ridiculous card game that's now failed and defunct. Yeah. But it was like a trading card game that you could play like a Magic the Gathering type game. with World of Warcraft. And you could get that, and there was a code that was attached with this limited edition rare card that you would put into your computer, and you would get this mount in the game. And it was extremely rare to get this card. And the card, not used, would sell on eBay for around $3,000, dude. $3,000 to have that clout. Now, I'll give you this. The code still works today, and it's a big status symbol. But how about coming flying in on that shit when you're playing that game? That's badass.
You come flying in on a dragon, dude, all your buddies are like, what?
Yeah, and it's big, colorful red and yellow dragon.
And I'll go ahead and tell you right now, if I played World of Warcraft and I had the dragon, every time I came flying in, all you would hear is me going, Lee Jenkins.
Dude, it'd be like, hey, let's walk over here.
That's all I would do. I would just fly around screaming that.
I would, on the other, Free would be doing that, and while I'm sitting there and like it's a walking distance that the group has to walk, I'm flying there.
Yeah.
Just so I can land that fucking dragon again.
Yeah.
Now,
Landed,
during those...
Be kicked back, got a fire going, drinking some ale. What took y'all so long?
So usually this... You can now get one too, because usually the same thing would happen with lengthy rules or a huge quest that you got to get it through one of their latest downloadable content games. Is how they push these things, like the Sea of Thieves that event that they're having during November. I'm sure you're gonna get some sort of weapons or ships or something during that time of that DLC that's going to be linked to that DLC forever. Not this one, Free. Not this one at fucking all. This one, to earn it, all you have to do is link your Battle.net account with your Twitch account, then watch 4 hours of WoW Dragonflight related content. Dude, seriously? I'm going to link the two accounts, I'm going to put the fucking video on, and I'm going to go upstairs and do something else. I'm going to leave this. I'll come back into the studio every once in a while and check it out. It's going to be in the background. I'm not going to be intently watching it, but then you get it. That's it. That's all you have to do. I would be so fucking pissed, and their community is pissed. The few people that have bought this mount, and some of them as recently as mid-October, and paid $3,000 for this shit. Literally, you can go get it. You can just go watch a fucking video and get it. Destiny used to do this with rare weapons that you see like the following week at the Xur merchant, XUR, Xur. You see them like on sale. Sometimes expensive, sometimes cheap, but it's like, dude, and that's what made me leave that game. I was playing it with my youngest son because I would sit there and him and I would grind out some shit on some fucking.
I just grinded for 16 hours and then 2 days later I could have bought it.
And it's not even that. Like with Destiny, it's drops. Like you remember back in the day, we both played, and you had the loot cave, and the loot cave. Yeah, you got a lot of weapons, you get a lot of shit, a lot of money, but those rare exclusive weapons happen like one every like 1,500 times that it was done. It would drop that. I mean, I don't know what the exact ratio is, but some of the exotic and rare drops only happen once in a while. So the fact that you're grinding out a fucking game to constantly try to get like, I remember one time it was a rocket launcher that was I believe it was a rocket launcher that was heat sinking or something, or it automatically targeted, and it was like, I'm like, oh fuck. Like the thing that I had to play, the vault that I had to play was just, it sucked. Every time you played it, it took like 30 minutes to do it. You could do 50 levels in gears quicker than doing this stupid thing. And you got it, and then, I didn't get that roll.
Speaking of 50 levels of gears.
Yeah.
We pulled that off the other night.
You're damn right. Now, were we on rookie? Yes. But there was fucking 2 of us, so fuck all you people that said that. There was 2 of us, and I was drunk. So the fact that we pulled off 50 fucking levels, you'll see it on stick style.
We'll bump it up. We'll bump it up. A hardness level the next time. I think we could have bumped it up and still done it, but
I think we could have too, because we really floated through that thing pretty fucking easy. And I've actually, it wasn't until the end. There was a certain thing. I don't want to say it yet, but there's a certain thing that we figured out toward the end. Through Fatal Fastlane that helped us out with that. There's a certain thing we figured out at the end. I've tested that since then, and it is exactly the way to do this. we
Yeah.
could have definitely done it on a harder level.
Yeah.
Easy. But
Yeah, I don't think I pulled trigger like the last 3 waves.
yeah, there was yeah.
I mean,
So
I chainsaw some people, but the rest of, I mean, we had, well, it seemed like 72 gun turrets up. It might not have been that many, but
so if you go to the YouTube Stick Style channel, and it's just Stick Style, you can't miss the logo. And soon it'll be behind me. But if you go to the website, if you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see. I think I posted it, maybe not, but it's going to be posted within the next day or two. You'll see Fremo and I reaching level 50, just the end, the last couple, and you'll hear Fremo literally say, "Phoenix, where do you want me to put this turret? Because I have no place to put this." Like
yeah.
we literally filled the place. Like we kind of just sat in the middle and waited.
Like the game was like having trouble like figuring out where to spawn the horde.
Anything.
Because
Yeah.
I was dropping turrets on spawn points.
And I'm not even going to tell you live on the air what I feel the perfect map is, because it's so unbelievably easy controlled. Even if you went to an extreme setting, there's a spot that you can stand on in that map that Fremo and I play all the time, that you could just build out from around there and never have to worry. You can snipe, you can shoot, you can do whatever the fuck you want. There's no worries.
Yeah.
But anyway, since you spend all that money on your new dragon mount, I have something else you can spend money on. And Fremo, I just need to know, before I even launch this story, have you read the article at all? That's a no.
Yes.
He's clicking on it now. That's bullshit.
No,
That's bullshit.
Bullshit.
Are you talking? Okay. I mean, I can spoil it if you want, but
No, don't spoil it.
I did. I looked at it.
Okay,
I don't understand it.
I'll explain it.
I'm trying to figure out who's trolling who with this, but
Yes. So what we're talking about right now is the fractured entrenched tanker jacket offered by Xbox on their clothing site. Now, a couple of times in these shows, you might have seen me wearing an Xbox hooded sweatshirt or an Xbox regular sweatshirt. All of those came from there. The entrenched tanker jacket, from what I can see from the pictures, this is not a high quality jacket at all. It looks good for a gamer, like a shitty replica or something. But I think it's too thin to be considered a high end jacket. It's
no,
army
I
green.
mean, there's so many things about it that you just look at it and I'm like cringing. I mean,
Right.
it's
Even
ridiculous.
Especially when you look at it on the
Gotta be
model.
a typo. Gotta be
Listen,
a typo.
listen, no, listen. Especially when you see the picture of it on the model, you're like, that's some bullshit jacket right there. That shit's like thin. So
I mean,
it's
if
army green.
if the model's included, the price may or may not be that far off. But
Oh, that's. I don't even have a sound effect for that. There we go. So it's army green. The patches are up and down both arms. There's a big logo on the back. There's a mural of a tank on the inside that nobody's ever going to see until you take off your jacket, and you can get your gamer tag on the front on a removable Velcro piece, which is fucking cool, especially for people like me and Fremo that have never changed our fucking gamer tag. Hey, Xbox, why don't you throw us some fucking swag, okay? Since we've been
Speaking
on
of-
since the beginning.
haven't ever changed. When I loaded Call of Duty up yesterday
Yeah.
and started it, bam, FFOP clan tag was there.
What was FFOP?
The
That was
clan.
after I left. That was after I left playing.
Oh, well, okay. I think we've managed to stay away from an explicit rating this episode so
no, we
far.
haven't.
So I will. Oh, we haven't? Okay. Well, you remember that guy Roman that we played with? That
Vaguely.
nobody else on the team, nobody else could understand. And I had to translate because he's from an area of Georgia where the accent.
No,
is so
I don't remember
heavy.
this guy. No, this was after
Okay.
I left. Then this was after I left Call of Duty.
Okay, well, we were playing with a group one night, and somebody said something, and he just spouted off and was like something to the effect of, "Well, I'll come over to your house and I'm going to shove a fistful of pickles up your ass."
This is where this came from. I remember
Yeah,
the fistful
from
of
some
pickle.
kid.
Okay,
Yeah, so we were
Fistful
all
of
dying
pickles.
laughing. We were all dying laughing. And I was like, "That's it. That's our new clan tag." And they're like, "What?" I was like, "FFOP."
oh, that's awesome.
and they actually had a picture on the because you could get a clan tag picture. They had a picture, and you could like
Modify
design
it.
your own clan tag.
Sure.
Yeah, so we took some pickles and then superimposed the fist over it, and brought the fist to the foreground.
Nice.
So you had like these pickles sticking out the side of the fist.
That's awesome. So the jacket's army green. Patches are up and down both
But
arms.
anyway, I say all that to say that's what I would put on the jacket if I got one. I wouldn't put my gamer tag. I'd put FFOP on it. But anyway.
Mural of a tank on the inside. And you can get your gamer tag put on it, like I said. How much would you pay for that, Free? Going to
Granted,
store.
It's officially licensed gear. I might pay $75 for something like that.
I said 50. I'll even go as high as 100. There's some shit that I paid $100 for.
It depends on how, can I get some different, like some of the patches that I'm seeing on here? Could I get, could I get my clan tag as one of the patches? Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how customizable it is, I might go $100.
It's not customizable at all. You do get
other than the one.
You do get an extra patch. You get an extra patch. It's a Halo extra patch that they like coyly said on their website that you could put it in an undisclosed location. Like really, it's like the Secret Service of UNSC. And I'm like, come on, guys. That's still. But this is the problem here, people. This is the price of this fucking jacket. Okay? And I've showed it on the picture on the YouTube channel, the inside and the outside of the jacket. The price of this jacket is $117,343. And you can't buy it right. You can't buy it right now. So what you have to do, you have to complete the fractured event and get the code to be sent to your Halo way station, which is probably the worst fucking app you could ever download for Halo. Ever. It's fucking pointless. It's bullshit news from 343. That's all it ever is. It's useless. So you can get that. And I see what they did. 117, John 1117. 343 Industries to make the game. But what the hell, people? And if you look, because Fremo and I are notorious for going to the comment section. If you go to the comment section, you will see clearly that these people are fucking rubes, man. You are total fucking marks. Because a lot of people are saying, "Hey, I didn't play the game, but I know my uncle will love that jacket. I want to get it to him for Christmas." Really? You want to get your uncle $117,000 shitty jacket? You're going to pay for that? How you pay for that? Who's got that credit card?
The actual price of it, even after you do the in-game stuff, you have to.
Does it lower? Does it lower?
Oh yeah, it drops down to $125.
That's not worth it.
That's what I'm saying. Even because if you look, where did I see that at? It's actual price with the Halo gear reward is $125.
Wow.
So you have to complete the fractured event like you were talking about. Then you receive the code and it reduces the price. When you punch the code in, it will reduce the price to $125.
Oh man. That's again.
So in other words, I guess technically you see, this is why I hope I win $1.2 billion in the Powerball this weekend.
Oh, it's me against you then.
I will absolutely buy one of these. I'll get you one too. And I'll pay the full $117,000 for it. And walk into their little party of, I finished the fractured event. I didn't. I paid full price. As I fly in on my dragon screaming, Leroy Jenkins. And if the dragon's not available, I'll just be driving a blue Pagani.
No. That's true. It's facts, people.
If I want big money like that, I absolutely. And I wouldn't even, I would have to go find them because they don't make the C12 Super Sport. They haven't for like 15 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would have to go find somebody and be like, I need your blue Pagani C12 Super Sport. Well, it's not for sale. Oh, it is.
Oh, it is.
It is. How much
Come
do
with
you
the
want?
number. $8 million. All right, here you go.
Yeah. 10 million. Sound okay?
So the last thing I wanted to bring up, I know Primo doesn't play it though. I think non-building is where it's at. Fortnite just released the original Star Wars skins, which I looked over at my wife and I was like, "Hey, I got to spend $30 on Fortnite." And she looked at me, she goes, "What?" And I leaned over and she saw the screen and saw Han, Leia, and Luke, and went, "Oh, okay." Because we're this house. I can't wait for you to come down again. Because when you see our house and you see how much Star Wars shit we truly have, like we pulled shit out of storage from the apartment that you were at or that you saw. We pulled shit out of storage to put it up in this house.
Nice.
So there's a lot of Star Wars shit. She even pulled out, I don't know why, but she pulled out Christmas shit already. And there's Star Wars Christmas shit.
Over. Nobody gives a shit about Thanksgiving anymore, so
I'm waiting for them to discontinue that. Like honestly, it's Indigenous Species Day. There's talk of. I truly feel, and I think I can speak for Fremo on this one, is that I truly feel that if you're going to do Thanksgiving, it's not about the Native Americans, Christopher Columbus, and all that. It's about thanks for the year before Christmas. Thanks for the year that you gave us, whether it's everybody's healthy or you got a new job or whatever it is. You have to find something, and that's where Fremo and I, we don't talk about religion on the show.
That's where we differ, because we actually go out to the recreated Plymouth Rock we have here on the property.
Where I actually go to the Plymouth Rock, which is not what you think it is. Like people are always like, "Oh, you got to go to Plymouth Rock?" Yeah, it ain't shit.
I always invite whatever local Indigenous people are still in the area over for the meal, and then give them some trinkets before they leave.
That's fucking wrong. Here we go.
Oh, that's gonna give me some hate mail.
Hey, before people start hating on me, I already paid my reparations to the Indigenous people of this country this year.
Oh, that's gonna give me some hate mail.
No, I did. I went to the casino, gave them a bunch of money.
Oh, that's gonna give me some hate mail.
So again, Thanksgiving.
And for those of you that are worried that I'm making fun of Indigenous people, I'm like an 8 myself. So
what Fremont and I actually wanted to say was that being Christians, and I know we don't do religion on this a lot. Being Christians, it's very much Thanksgiving is about giving thanks for what you have and what you have around you. If you're, and again, I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're actually sitting on your couch with a can of beans on your coffee table. I'm sorry. Look around. There's places you can get Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner too. But for those of us that are curmudgeon at our age, just be thankful for all those people that are sitting at that table, whether they want to be there or not. They're there.
And for anybody in my area, if you don't have anywhere else to go for Thanksgiving meal, come by because we always have plenty.
Yep. Fremo's done that throughout the years. I know that for a fact. Yep. So that's it for this week. Anything else?
No, I think I'm going to go do some Nuketown.
Oh. All right. That's it for this week. Tents down. Show's over.
Whoop, whoop. But seriously, let's
So you can find more of this garbage at bgfgonline.com. You can also send us an email with your questions or suggestions at bgfgshow@gmail.com. Find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, and YouTube. Thank you for listening.